So we've been talking about how to do podcasts.
Lots of conversations about what podcasts look like.
Yeah, because we've not studied, read a book, we're absolutely winging it.
Yeah.
So if it feels like there's not any form or function, it's because there isn't.
Yeah.
But I'm craving a roadmap.
Yeah.
And last week, so I will be honest, last week I felt like absolute deuce.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I faked it well enough.
You did a really good job.
Yeah, because you were like, you didn't feel good? I said, I just felt like I was up here looking down on our conversation, and I was grasping.
Well, I thought you did a good job.
Thank you.
I don't think you could tell.
Thank you. I was thinking about this too. I was thinking about being sick and how that's changed over the years. So I don't know, being Gen X, supposedly Gen X people they pretty much are nose to the grindstone, and I would say, they are not big on calling in sick or whatever. So when you guys were younger, do you remember what the formula was? Because I took a lot of pride in not calling in sick and whatnot. What was the magic?
It was a shower, ibuprofen, and coffee.
Right.
Warm shower, ibuprofen, and coffee. And it does the trick for a few hours.
That's so funny because that was like, I said, if you take a hot shower, take ibuprofen, jump in the hot shower, and drink a cup of coffee. If you still feel like you can't move or function, then you're probably like next level sick. So that was kind of always the formula. And how many dad has like hundreds of sick days
built up.
Yeah. Remember when I remember being a young mom and him throwing up in the garbage can and like on his way out to work, and me being like, okay, like I am all about not calling in sick, but do you think you're doing anyone any favors by throwing up in the classroom? He couldn't comprehend.
He's like next level. Like he is to a whole nother level.
Yes.
The lack of sick days he takes and what constitutes taking a sick day for him is he has to be on his deathbed.
Yeah. And I remember he doesn't watch this, so I can absolutely say whatever I want. I remember being in our 20s, and he was a teacher, and he was raised to never call in sick. And, excuse me, we had the stomach flu, and I remember him being for some reason back then, they had this system where he called directly to the principal to let him know when you're sick and you need a substitute. And I remember him sitting on the bed talking to the principal, and he was so like thrown off that he realized he had to call in sick, that he thinks that he really needs to make his case to the principal. And I remember him saying, I've been on the pot all night, And I was like, I don't think he needs that level of detail. But Dad being like, he had to explain, like, I'd be there if I could, but I've been on the pot.
He really needs the evidence to prove that he's really...
Yeah. So the reason I brought all that up is because when I was thinking about being sick, I always kind of thought it was a badge of honor, the whole never calling in sick thing. Then COVID happened, and then I remember going into work one time, and anyway, it's this whole new thing. Like, then it became like a moral failing if you went to work sick because you were putting so many people at risk, Yeah. So I had to do a mind switch. Now I don't know where I stand on the subject, but I knew my daughter is sort of, I knew if we had an appointment to do a podcast, I needed to keep the appointment. I knew I couldn't call in sick with you.
Yeah.
Because you're not big on calling in sick either.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So as we were talking about the podcast, we were like, you said gently before we hit play. less is more.
Okay.
Less is more.
Tell them that I said that.
It's so true though. So we're grappling with this whole thing, figuring out, and I thought about this week, I figured out our demographic.
Okay.
Our demographic is nice women.
That's so true.
Who more than likely are related to us. No, we've got Kelly and
Yeah.
Aunt Carrie
Yeah.
and Heidi,
Mariah. Yeah.
and Chrissy,
Chrissy.
yeah, Trisha. I'm trying to think of all the sweet women. So we're thinking about those women when we're thinking about the path we want to stay on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you have anything up your sleeve for content, we're trying to cover all the things that we're interested in: faith, fashion, design, style, fitness,
Yeah.
nutrition, health, time management.
All the lifestyle. We're interested in all the lifestyle things with real estate and design intertwined in that.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah.
So speaking of that, Mariah requested that we do hot takes on interior design.
The hot take. Here's the thing about the hot take. Who cares what your hot take is? Because like you didn't want to give your hot take because you were like, no, because then what if someone likes it? And I mean, who cares what people on the internet say about what they like or don't like?
Yeah.
We all need to do our own thing.
Who cares what we say?
Yeah.
Our opinion has no value.
That's my hot take. Who cares what we say?
But we're gonna say it.
Yeah. So
We're
we had a hot take, and it can be something that we're not into, or something that we are, or both.
Yeah.
So what's your hot take?
My hot take has been done really well, and it can be done really well, and I think that if you enjoy this, you should still do it, obviously. Industrial decor is not necessarily I'm not in love with it, and I think that it had its time, and I will personally probably never design with industrial. I think it's a little, it's not super cozy, not super inviting, and I'm much more into the cozy, curated, unique vibe now rather than the industrial, and I think that kind of ties into farmhouse as well.
You're saying this like you're delivering the most
I
controversial.
am terrified that,
And I think this might lead into this other thing I want to say about something precious. Farmhouse.
yeah, I don't think I'm realizing I don't think I'm good at the hot takes about things I don't like. I don't.
You do not have to apologize. So you're not, and you've told me that, if I ever go the farmhouse direction, you've kind of been there, done that with the farmhouse. I like farmhouse, certain like level of farmhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these things can be done well, but not in my space.
I always say that, and I am not kidding when I tell you this. I can go into a space that I would never choose a single thing in that space that the person has chosen and still love the space and appreciate it.
Yeah.
So
yes.
just because that's not our space.
We've said that before.
Yeah. In industrial, we just talked about that. We're like, we could see it in a dark, moody place geared for more like with a more masculine vibe. We could see it working, but we would not choose it. Yeah, we would not choose it. Or a farmhouse.
Yeah. See, you put that so well and but still so delicately.
Here's
feel
something.
so uncomfortable saying.
Here is something. I think what I have noticed, and this is unfortunate, and I have such a soft spot for young women, because I feel like when you are in your 20s, you feel like you need to apologize for everything. And I mean, I'm still struggling with that. And I have such a soft spot for young women because I see them doing that, and I think it's sort of ingrained into our psyche that we have to apologize for having an opinion that isn't pleasing to, and it's unfortunate. I don't want that for you or for any young woman. I've certainly done that, my share of that over time, but yeah, we need to fight against that. And it's okay not to, it's okay not to agree. And that doesn't make us bad or, yeah, so. What's my hot take? My hot take was fashion. And, and really, I think people want to hear what I have to say about fashion, especially in light of the fact that I've worn a denim long sleeve shirt. This is our third podcast. All three podcasts I've had a denim shirt on.
Different denim
shirt. But honestly, that is my hot take. My hot take is this. Oh, I was going to say this before about being in your 50s. I love it. I absolutely love it because of what I just said. Like, I feel like you get to a certain age where you are feeling like you do not have to apologize for everything. So it's awesome. So don't be afraid of getting older. It's great.
Thanks.
Fashion. So here's the thing. Especially in light of what we were talking about last week with the ADHD thing, my hot take is for people who have brains that work like mine is we are over cluttering our systems and creating we have too many decisions to make. So, and I know people will be like, but I don't want to wear a denim shirt every single, so this is not for everybody. This is for the people like me who want to not, because this is the real hot take, what we were talking about this morning. Effortless fashion, effortless design in your house is a farce. There's nothing effortless about it. To pick a vignette or to make a vignette or to pick an outfit that people like and are impressed with is time consuming. And that's why our houses don't look the way we want them to, because it takes so much work. You have to adjust and readjust, and so that's my closet. My hot take is I am getting rid of 2/3 of the crap I have in there. That's almost good. Maybe I'd wear it. Anything that isn't a solid 10 out of 10, I'd grab it any time is going, and I'm being brutal with my choices. So that's my hot take.
I like it.
Get rid of the crap that you wouldn't wear any day of the week.
One tip that I have, something I randomly came across about the whole, what you were saying about effortless design, is when I first was putting my apartment together and decorating it and whatnot, I picked those things for a reason, and I was like, I like those things. But the more you live in the space, the more you just become accustomed to them being there, and you don't really think about it, and then eventually you kind of get sick of what's in there. At least that happens to me, and now I'm like, why would I pick that? But I think it's just because I see it so often. The other day I was laying on the kitchen floor. I don't know why. I was on the kitchen floor and looking at my coffee bar from a different angle that I've never seen it before, and I was like, whoa, that actually looks really cute from the different angle that I was at, rather than just seeing it from the angle that I see it at every single day. So that's a weird, I don't know what you're gonna do with that information.
So is that your hot take? We all need to lay on our floor?
You need to lay on your floor and look at your vignettes from a different angle.
Yeah, that's funny. That is good. And I was thinking the same thing. Familiarity breeds contempt. And so we get used to the things in our house, and it just becomes hard to see what's not working because we just need to, I like to go to, in Baraboo, Countryside Refine is one of, there's several really adorable places in small towns around here. And I like to go in there and just soak up what they're doing for inspiration, because I get bored. So that's a thing, you kind of mess with something and it's almost right, but then you walk by it every day and you just get used to it.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking about that, like even this morning I was trying to pick an outfit out, and like I have on the most basic outfit, but it took me probably 5 iterations before I found the one. And for me, and I think you're the same way, the iteration I end up on always, it has to be comfortable.
I know, we have a thing with that.
Yeah, I truly cannot handle anything that's like, you like things that are cinching you, and I like things that are not cinching in the waist.
In the waist, yeah.
Yeah. A little girl, you always had to have, I don't know what those things called. The page. Yeah.
Adjustables.
Adjustables.
I needed adjustable waist.
Hey,
Cinch it.
here's a parenting hack while we're on it. What did I tell you the other day? We used to have battles about your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
And one of my biggest regrets parenting was the battles we had over, why did I not know that I can only handle certain types of clothes because of their comfort. And why didn't I know that you had the same issue? And so I thought you were being stubborn, but you weren't.
Yeah.
You just had, so you used to go hard for your Nike yoga pants when you were in kindergarten. Drawstring yoga pants. And they were the only thing you wanted to wear. And why did I think that was the end of the world? If you wore the same, I should have let you wear the same pants every day, or I should have bought 3, 5 different pair of those same pants. But instead, I'm like, God forbid, Olivia, people see my daughter in the same outfit.
That is so interesting.
Why did I
mean, you're not the only person that thinks that way.
Yeah.
It's just interesting.
We still have those pants in storage.
Yeah, I know. I don't think we will ever get rid of those.
No. So my tip to parents would be like, be careful you're not making a big deal out of something that's, and you had issues around, you were anxious around how clothes fit.
Yeah.
And a lot of young kids are about tags and all that.
The tags, yeah, we always had to cut the tags out.
Yeah.
And if the printing on it was too anyways.
Yeah, it was exhausting as a parent.
Yeah,
So
I can only imagine how frustrating that probably was.
Yeah. And you have to, your dreams of dressing your little girl and I had to grieve the death of that dream that I was gonna dress my daughter was gonna be my little dolly that I got to dress. Yeah. So also we were gonna talk about books. Books. What have you been reading lately?
I recently started reading romantasy books. On my honeymoon, I picked up a romantasy book and finished it very quickly, and now I've kind of kept going because I like it, but also those books are really popular and I kind of want to see what the hype was about. So right now I'm reading Fourth Wing. I'm about halfway through it. If you don't know what it's about, it is about dragon riders, which is so crazy. I never thought I'd be reading about that, but it is in fact very good. I don't need to get into it because, if I try and explain it, you just have to read the book. It's so well written, and there's a love story in it. Romantasy is like romance and fantasy mixed together. So the dragons, you have to pair with a dragon, and then there's also this romance and drama, and very good. I've also, my goal for this year was to be reading a, not self-help book, but a book that I'm gaining some kind of knowledge from as well. My goal was to kind of alternate between fiction and, a book that I'm gaining something from. So I'm reading Set for Life right now that you got me a couple of years ago for Christmas, and it's about finances. And I'm learning a lot, but also after I finish reading like a chapter, I just feel very motivated financially to like get it together and work really hard, and yeah, it's super motivating. So
I love that. I found that book. I was watching a podcast, and it's a woman, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, really? It was an interview with a woman that had made some choices about early on, and I was like, I gave that to you guys all when you were kind of graduating from college. I gave it to you for Christmas because I was like, this is the book that I wish I would have had. I remember when I was your age reading some stuff about credit and the trap of credit and whatnot, but boy, what I would have done with some of that information that you guys got about investing and real estate and all that kind of stuff. So I'm so glad I think you guys have all read it.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm on a memoir kick.
Really?
All I read for a while was romance, and so now I'm on a memoir kick, and man, I have read some good ones lately. I just read Sociopath, and fascinating book about a woman. She's probably my age, and she's a sociopath, and that word has so much stigma around it. And the fascinating thing is she's a sociopath, but you looking at her, she's like, you wouldn't know it. She's living a regular life, but so she's explaining the stigma and how growing up, she needed help and support, but there isn't much for people who are sociopaths. So it's just like this tricky situation to be in, because when they find out you're a sociopath, you can't get help, but you need help if you're a sociopath. So she kind of had to hack her own way through. She's now a psychiatrist, a PhD, and she kind of had to hack her way through her life. But some of the hallmarks of being a sociopath is they're incapable of caring what people think. And Dad and I were like, how amazing would that be to be a sociopath? Like, that's all we care about is what people think. No, but literally, how freeing would that be?
Yeah.
Kind of what we're to our point at the beginning. Like, as you're like, I'm sorry, I don't like farmhouse. Like, I'm really sorry, but we are so just live so apologetically. Like, God forbid someone not approve of every single thing we say or do. Could you imagine how freeing that would be? But there's a downside to that. Yeah.
There is. Yeah.
There's a downside to that because she stabbed a little girl with a pencil when she was in second grade. So there's that. You don't want to stab people. No, but she and then like she's incapable of like doesn't like affection or anyway. Absolutely fascinating watching her battle through, because she did also know right from wrong, so she did end up with a lot of, she has to hack her way through life trying to figure out how to, like, then she had a baby and she thought surely this is going to ignite these emotions that I see humans have that I've always, so as she would grasp for intuitively she'd want to feel these emotions, but all she felt was apathy. So every time she would feel a tension of wanting to feel emotion, she would deal with that by acting out. And when she would act in a form of violence or in doing something that was socially deviant behavior, and then in that action it would somehow relieve the stress of her craving some kind of emotion other than apathy. So it's fascinating. And so she had this baby and she was like, surely this will be the thing that will give me and it didn't. And so she had this baby, but somehow in her own way she did develop love and affection for her kids eventually, and she found a good mate. That is part of the story too. I don't want to give too much away, but I already probably have. But Sociopath, it's been a good one. And I was thinking, and it brought me to our last conversation about, the whole ADHD, and that's why I analyze. Everybody take a drink. That's why I analyze it, and that's why I want other people to think about their behavior. If you are repetitively find yourself in the same scenario and there's some level of frustration over it, like that's a brain thing. So I think everybody should be doing some self-analysis.
It's good.
And I just remember what you said, less is more, so that's why I'm stopping.
I was wondering why there was like slow down and then
boom, halt. Have I taken a breath in the last 10 minutes? Actually, we know each other so well. I could see it in your eyes. You're like, glossing over. Wait a minute, I have about 10 more pages of notes I gotta get through.
Oh my God.
So we're on point 2. I got 40 points. No, we are at 26 minutes. Let's be done. Can you tell I feel better this week?
Gosh, yes. Wow, that is hilarious.
Yeah. So, we didn't do, were we ending with I think we did our hot takes, so we don't need to end with anything else, right?
Okay, yeah.
And we do have, we have a fun project we're working on, which we'll share more.
Yeah, it's in the works. We can't share any details.
Oh,
right
no,
now.
it's top secret. It's everybody wants to know, but it's top secret. And tell us if you think this would be a good idea. This was what we had lined up for today, but our guest speaker slipped away from us. We were going to do Scott on the spot. Rapid fire questions to Scott for the last 5-10 minutes. Would you guys have enjoyed that? Nice lady demographic. Would you have enjoyed putting Scott on the spot?
Are we okay bringing a guy in here?
We thought that would have been fun. But of course, when I mentioned it to him, he was going to do it. And then, something came up. And when I mentioned it to him, of course, he's like, I need to be thinking ahead. Like, can you give me the questions in advance? I'm like, no, that's the whole point.
You're on the spot.
Yeah. No, seriously, thank you for listening. We love you guys, and we do want to bring some gals in here. We'll figure out how to engage with people more.
Yeah. We will.
Happy Easter.
Yes. He is risen.
He is risen indeed.
Absolutely.
Absolute. That's a private joke with Black Hawk Church. They had a whole sermon out. The guy didn't know he was supposed to say he is risen indeed. He said absolutely.
Which is a great response.
Yes. If you're Catholic, you understand. He's risen. Absolutely. Thanks for joining us.